Hello, René here. Welcome to my second applause video with the final review. After a long Sleeping Beauty slumber, during which they were only cherished by a few esoteric freaks, 300B amplifiers have made a great comeback. And the Ray song Boy You 50 is riding successfully on top of that wave. To a large extent, due to the promotion of the most popular YouTube influencers, Thomas with his channel Thomas in Stereo, Steve Guttenberg, the audiophiliac, Taran the British audiophile, and the Korean reviewer Che Solsik with his channel Che's Story, and many more. A critical voice can only be heard from Skunky Designs, the technically highly competent lady, yes, you can trust your eyes, a lady, is of course right in saying that this is not a real top dog. But if you want to improve this amp, prices would go up considerably. And in this sector, it's all about the crux of the matter, how to produce a 300B amp at the lowest price possible. The applause amp cannot achieve the impossible. It cannot undercut the magic line of 800 euros, which has been established by the Ray song already. The Ray song Boy You 50 may be an eye-catcher with his shiny design, topped by an even more luxurious champagne front plate. But hardliners hate wiping off the fingerprints and the dust regularly and might prefer the sober industrial vintage look of the applause amp. Its hammer-stroke lacquering is reminiscent of old heavy-duty machinery. And what about the romantic glow of the tubes? As you can see, there is nothing to be seen. Almost nothing. Not even a power-on LED, which is a little disappointing. Anyway, you have to take care of the proper atmosphere yourself. For those who are interested in technical details, here is a photo of the interior. I apologize for lacking the money to buy an A50 as well, to do a side-by-side comparison. But I will compare the applause to my Kagin Cefsu monoblock combination and also to my Bell's solid-state amps. Both sets were at least 4 to 5 times the price of this small integrated amp. Especially for this test, I have bridged my tannoy speakers instead of bi-amping for a realistic assessment of the bass power. There was no disadvantage for the applause because my speakers have an efficiency of 92 dB. To keep things simple, I only used these 2 CDs, and to avoid the long compound word Kagin Cefsu pre and power amplifier combination, I will only use the acronym CS. Nature Boy by George Carlo and his band is a song bursting with energy to a degree that only the CS was able to reproduce its dynamics to the fullest extent. I speak of the buzzing of the strings yanked up vigorously, the ploughing of the bass, which hit me like a boxer's glove and even outperformed the bells, and the overall drive which the applause could not provide to an extent that the music got down to the legs. Winner, CS. Ben Webster's My One and Only Love was neatly presented by all 3 devices, but the saxophone sounded best with the bells. Body and Soul, a wonderful female voice soft jazz number presented by Catiline von Otterlo, brought the first surprise. I was impressed by the beguilingly intimate live atmosphere the dry and precise sounding applause could provide, while the CS mixed it with a tiny shot of the high spirits of a pop concert. The bells remained in between. Edward Well singing the Bruce Springsteen hit I'm on Fire. I kept playing this track again and again in awe and disbelief because I had never heard it like this before. The acoustics of the small church it was recorded in, the authenticity of the guitar and the voice, the absolutely genuine sound of the small harmonica. Really no chance left here for the other candidates. Also for Tom Gable's performance of One for My Baby, I would give more points to the applause, which convinced me once more with her lifelike sound, especially of the voice, which seemed to be recorded unplugged. Gable sat there right before me on his bar stool next to the grand piano, with no technical device in between him and me, the listener, while the others were singing into a microphone. Carmen Gomez, Concept of Time. That was a different caliber. The reproduction of the blues feeling did not only require delicate expression, but power as well. And that's what the other devices have aplenty. They could handle the simultaneous surge of drums and piano more effortlessly than the applause. With the right selection, the applause can attract you and draw you into the music like a magnet, whereas the others tend to flow towards you like waves, sometimes softly embracing you or even submerging you. Chet Baker and Wolfgang Leckerschmidt, Ballads for Two. Only two musicians, but a universe of sound. That's exactly what the applause rendered, and she did that spot on, not subtracting anything, not adding anything. Seldomly did I have such a feeling of trust into 100% faithful reproduction of what happened in that recording studio, of those sounds from fragile to powerful. Fairground Attraction, the first of a million kisses, title Find My Love. With this type of music, the applause showed the weakest results. The guitar strings did not shimmer as high-gloss polished as possible. The singer's position was not as defined as I had heard it before, and the bass was just so and did not reach down to the feet. Antonio Salieri, Concert for Flute, Oboe and Orchestra, a totally unknown piece but a favorite of mine. With classical music, the applause boasts the capability to depict spacious concert halls, but the illusion of spatial depth cannot be fully maintained due to a lack of sound pressure in the lower mids and the bass range. The energy of the sound is more bound and restricted to the stage, which means to the space between the speakers. The music does not move towards the listener and does not engage him emotionally, a weakness which this device shares with a lot of other and even more expensive amplifiers. Flute and oboe raised beautifully above the orchestra. The bells presented the orchestra with less extension to the left and right and less gradation. Finally, let's try an operatic aria, Signore Ascolta, from the Puccini opera Turandot. With the bells, the diva stood a bit too close to the orchestra. When she raised her beautiful voice, it could turn a little harsh. The applause showed the singer well placed. Her voice was softer and the stage was realistic. But finally, there is a caveat. The CS was able to present all that with an unrivaled, sparkling shimmer, festive serenity, and authority. But, as I said in the beginning, such traits of superiority will cost you a lot more, so that in the end we have to concede that the applause is at least well worth its price.